We will begin with the sale of a firm to a company. Start. Sale of a firm to a company. Before we start with sale of a firm to a company, and in the books of the firm, we are going to prepare which account. The firm is going to be liquidated. We are going to prepare which account? Realization account we are going to prepare, and we are going to prepare which one? Partners capital account to show the settlement, and we will prepare which one? Cash or bank account to see the realizations and payments. Realizations and payments. The concept of dissolution is 100% applicable, which means, for example, how will you transfer assets? What is the entry for transfer of assets? Realization account to sundry assets. You will transfer them at what value? Book value. Oh, screen is freezed. We will transfer them at what value? Book value. Don't transfer cash and bank balance. Don't transfer cash and bank balance if it is not taken over by the purchasing company. Sometimes purchasing company may say you retain the cash for paying expenses. In such case, we will not transfer this to what? Realization. If cash is also taken over, by the purchasing company, then we will transfer all assets. Miscellaneous expenditure, as usual, it will be transferred to whom? Partners capital. Then we will transfer external liabilities to realization. Then some assets may not be taken over by the company. Some assets may not be taken over by the company. In such case, what the firm should do? You should sell the assets. What is the entry for selling the assets? Cash or bank account debtor. Sometimes partners may agree to take over some assets. So partners capital account debtor, like that it will come to realization. Sometimes all liabilities may not be paid by the company or taken over by the company. Okay, if it is paid by the firm, what is the entry that will come? Realization to cash or bank to partners capital, like that. For example, let us assume we are having 25 assets. Okay, let us assume the company says we will take over your land and building, plant and machinery, goodwill, trademark, copyright, patent right. But inventory and debtors, you sell and realize. Our inventory also we will take over. Debtors, if we go and ask money, they will not pay. You realize the money. In such case, what is the entry we will pass? Cash or bank account debtor to realization account. And some furniture, etc. may not be taken over by the company. That may be taken over by the partner. In such case, partners capital account debtor to realization, like that. Or some investments which are not required by the company, they will say you keep it with yourself. Okay. So in such case, that may be taken over by the partner or the market. Same way, there may be 15 liabilities. 10 liabilities may be agreed by the company. Remaining 5 liabilities you settle yourself. Okay, which means creditors, outstanding expenses, your own dues you pay to the marina. Realization to cash if it is paid by the firm. Realization to partners capital if it is paid by the partners. Same, profit or loss and realization, it will be transferred to whom? Partners, and partners will be settled. What is extra? What is extra in case of sale or that is sale of a firm to a company? Okay, simple. For the assets and liabilities taken over, for the business taken over, the company will pay. Okay, so simple. First one, all concepts of which one? Dissolution of firm is applicable, which means which account? Realization account, then partners capital account, and you will maintain which account? Cash account also. All the concept of dissolution of firm is applicable. What is additional? What is additional is, okay, for the assets and liabilities taken over, for the assets and which one? Liabilities taken over. For the assets and liabilities taken over, or we can call it as for the business purchased. For the business purchased by the company. There will be 2 entries. There will be 2 set of entries. One is they have to pay us purchase consideration. For purchase consideration due. This is similar to amalgamation, selling company books. For purchasing consideration due, what is the entry we will pass? Purchasing company account debtor to realization account. To which account? To realization account. Do you remember? Purchasing company account debtor to which account? Realization account. Why? Because all assets and liabilities are there in which account? Realization account. Then for the purchase consideration received, what is the entry we will pass? We may receive it in cash form, cash or bank account debtor. We may receive it in which form? Shares or debentures in purchasing company, account debtor to which company? Purchasing company. That's it. Now, what will you do with the cash or bank? It will be added to the existing cash and bank balance. What will you do with shares and debentures? We are in the books of firm or the company? We are in the books of the firm. Shares allotted by the purchasing company. Shares allotted by the purchasing company will be given to our partners. It will be given to our partners. It's simple. Our partners will become what? Shareholders in the company. Our partners will become shareholders in the company. Simple. Normal dissolution, sale of a firm to a company, any difference? Render difference. Pass the entry for the assets and liabilities taken over. That is purchase consideration due. Then record which one? Purchase consideration received. The shares and debentures allotted by the purchasing company will be used for discharging the partners' capital, or partners will get allotment of which one? Shares and debentures. How they will get allotment? Depending upon the ratio. Either they may share it in capital ratio or they may get it in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio on the Madri. Take up this. So all the concepts of realization is applicable. Additional thing is the assets and liabilities taken over, record the purchase consideration due and record which one? Purchase consideration received. This is in the books of the firm. And this is also not new for us. This we already learned in which chapter? Amalgamation chapter. And in the books of purchasing company, same as amalgamation and the nature of purchase. You remember, what is entry will pass? Business purchase account debtor to liquidator of selling company. A business purchase account debtor to the partnership firm. Then for assets and liabilities taken over, what is entry will pass? Assets account debtor to liabilities account to business purchase. Then settle the consideration in the form of cash, shares and the money. So in the books of purchasing company, entry is similar to which one? Purchasing company amalgamation. Okay, please go to question number 26. Sir, mata question la pannuvom. Amalgamation of firms, we will do it in a separate class. We will do this class, which one? Sale or conversion. Conceptually over, we have to just practice problem. XYZ are in partnership, carrying business in partnership, okay? Sharing profit and losses in which ratio? 2:3:5. Say they sold the business to the company. The following is the balance sheet of the firm is given to us. Capital of XYZ, then current accounts are given to us. Creditors and sundry assets. Creditors and which one? Sundry assets are given to us. The company took over firm's business for a total consideration of what? 1,05,000. What do you mean by taking over a business? Will they take over only assets, or they will take over assets as well as liabilities? Business means assets and what? Liabilities. So in the asset the liability pay பண்ணிப்போம் அந்த மாதிரி 1,05,000 then purchase consideration என்ன சொல்றாங்க? Cash payment how much? 44,100. 2,100 shares of how much? 10 each. Balance by allotment of how many shares? 2,100 equity shares of rupees 10 each கொடுத்திருக்கோம். So this is the purchase consideration. Start. Let us verify the purchase consideration. This is question number 26. What is the, please do it along with me. Purchase consideration. What is the purchase consideration? 1,05,000. How this is paid? How this is paid? In cash. In cash form, எவ்வளவு pay பண்றாங்க? 4,400 rupees cash la pay பண்றாங்க. Then in preference shares. Preference share. What is a preference share? 20? 2,100 into 10. 2,100 into 10. 21,000. Wait பண்ணுங்க. Balance in equity shares. இங்க வேல்யூ பார்த்தா 1,05,000 minus 4,400 minus 21,000 போட்டு என்ன வருது? 39,900 வருது. பட் அவன் கொடுத்த ஷேர்ஸ் பாருங்க எவ்வளவு கொடுத்துருக்கான் பாருங்க, 2,100 into what is the face value? அது face value தான் 10. Face value is 10 rupees. அப்போ 21,000 வரும். Face value தான் 10 rupees. But allotted value is how much? 39,900 na wait பண்ணுங்க. 39,900 divided by எவ்வளவு shares? 2,100 shares na allotted value is how much? Rupees 19, which means they are allotting at a premium. They are allotting at a premium. 19 rupees is allotted value, but அதோட face value எவ்வளோ? 10 rupees. So don't consider face value. Allotted value is 19. Just for your reference. This we are not going to use anywhere. Just for your reference, let me tell you. Balance 39,900 in the form of which one? Equity shares. Note this, then we will proceed. What is allotted value? 19 rupees. Okay. It's a very simple problem. We'll go for the case A, case B later. As of now, which account you have to prepare first? Start along with me. A realization account. A realization account like to sundry assets. To sundry assets எவ்வளவு இருக்கு பாருங்க, 1 lakh. By liabilities, ஒரே ஒரு liability தான். Usual, the transfer பண்ணலையா, transfer of asset realization to sundry assets. All assets are transferred 1 lakh. Creditors மட்டும்தான் இருக்கு external liability. What is the creditors? 29,440. Then wait பண்ணுங்க. If any asset, don't copy this. If any asset is realized by the firm, என்ன பண்ணுவோம்? By cash or bank. In this problem, any such assets are sold and realized by the firm? No. If any obligation is met by the firm, recorded or unrecorded liability என்ன பண்ணுவோம்? To cash or bank account போடுவோம். இந்த ப்ராப்ளத்தில் no such thing. If anything taken over by the partner to partner's capital, anything realized by the partner by partner's capital and all we'll do, but in this problem no such thing. Okay. For purchase consideration due, what is entry we passed? Purchasing company account data to which account? Realization accounts. How this will be posted? By purchasing company. Who's the purchasing company? Jalan Private Limited account. எவ்வளோ? Purchase consideration? 1,05,000. Then pay பண்ணுங்க. If you prepare Jalan Private Limited account to realization எவ்வளோ வரும்? 1,05,000. How are we getting this? By cash. Cash எவ்வளோ வாங்குறோம்? 44,100. By preference shares in J. Preference shares in Jalan Limited எவ்வளோ இருக்கு? 21,000. By equity shares in Jalan Limited எவ்வளோ இருக்கு? 39,900. Purchase consideration is received. Now, in the realization account, any other thing that will come apart from this? இந்த ப்ராப்ளத்தில் வேற ஏதாவது வருமா? Is there any sale of asset not taken over? Anything taken over by the partner? Any payment of liabilities to be made? Any payment of liability done by the partner? Any other thing? No. Purchasing company took over all assets and liabilities for how much? 1,05,000. அது ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணியாச்சு, அவ்வளவுதான். Now we can close which account? Realization account. Realization profit வரும். Realization profit எவ்வளவு பாருங்க. எவ்வளவு வருது? 34,440. This realization profit will be shared by whom? Who are the partners? X, Y, Z. What is the profit sharing ratio? 2:3:5. Copy this. So we prepared which account? A realization account and J Private Limited, the purchasing company account. So realization account and the purchasing company account is common for, I hope different cases are given in the problem. Any doubt in this? Any doubt in this? Purchase consideration due 1,05,000. And the 1,05,000 we received in cash, preference shares and what? Equity shares. Okay, supposing the stock was not taken over by the company, it was sold by the firm for 50,000. என்ன பண்ணிருப்பீங்க? By cash or bank. Any asset, recorded or unrecorded. Suppose if the stock was taken over by a partner கொடுத்திருந்தா X or Y or கொடுத்திருந்தா by X's capital, Y's capital, like that you would have put. Suppose in the problem, instead of word business, they have taken over assets only but not liabilities. Then you have to pay the creditors. Then we have to pay the creditors. If firm pays, realization to cash or bank. If partner pays, realization accounted out to partner's capital. That's as usual concept now. Now come back to the question. Look at case A. Look at case A. No other information is given. No other information given means that's all. No other information is given. Start. No other information is given. Now we will prepare which account? Capital account. Capital account of partners. This is for case A. If no other information is given. Who are the partners? X, Y, Z. As usual, transfer the capital by balance brought down. What is the balance brought down? Hello, capital இருக்கு பாருங்க. Tell me the amounts. 9,450, 5,070, then by current account 36,162, 15,490. X and Y the current account. Then by realization account. By realization account எவ்வளவு இருக்கு? 6,888, 10,332 and 17,220. This is capital account of partners. 1 minute. Okay. If no other information is given, what the partners will do? What they will do with the preference share, what they will do with the equity share. If no other information is given, the partners will take over them. Preference shares in which company? J. They will take over in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio. 21,000 into 2 by 10. Then 21,000 into 3 by 10. Then 21,000 into 5 by 10. So equity shares in J, the partners will take over in the same ratio, same manner. 39,900 into, can take it along with me, no need to wait, 2 by 10. 39,900 into 3 by 10. Very simple. In that ratio, they will become the shareholders in the firm. 39,900 into 5 by 10. Balance will be settled in cash. Close பண்ணுங்க. The remaining amount will be settled in what? Cash. Hello, over the cash balance. I hope 2 cash will come for the first two நினைக்கிறேன். Third partner, he has to bring in cash. And we have to cross check also. Wait பண்ணுங்க. What is the purchase consideration received in cash? What is the purchase consideration received in cash? 44,100 and received from Z. Received from Z எவ்வளவு வாங்கிருக்கோம்? 9450. Or you can prepare a cash account. That's better. Cash account போட்டுக்கலாம். இதுக்கு statement. Cash account we can prepare. To what is the company? Jalan Private Limited. எவ்வளவு வாங்கிருக்கோம்? 44,100. To Z account அவங்ககிட்ட எவ்வளவு ரிசீவ் பண்ணிருக்கோம்? 9450. And we pay to the partners. யாருக்கு பே பண்ணிருக்கோம்? Axis Capital account. Axis Capital account this 40,320 by Y's Capital account எவ்வளவு பே பண்ணிருக்கோம்? 13,230. டாலியா தான். So in the absence of specific information, what do we do? Shares are taken over in profit sharing ratio. Any balances paid to the partner, surplus, any shortages brought in by the partner. இங்க இன்சால்வன்சிக்கு எல்லாம் சான்ஸ் கிடையாது. ஓகே, இங்க இன்சால்வன்சி ஆகுமான்னு கேட்காதீங்க, ஆக சான்ஸ் இல்லை. இப்போ இன்சால்வன்சி ஆனா ஜெட்க்கு ஈக்விட்டி ஷேர் அலாட் பண்ண மாட்டோம். This is for case A. மற்ற கேஸ் எல்லாமே எனக்கு காப்பி அண்ட் பேஸ்ட் தான், நீங்க தான் ஃப்ரெஷ்ஷா ஒர்க் பண்ணணும். Any realization account and which account? J Private Limited account is common for all the 3 cases or 4 cases given. Case A, if no information is given, what to do? If no information is given, what to do? The shares will be taken up by the partners in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio. Any surplus is paid off, any shortages brought in by the partner. And we verify with cash and bank account also. Actually, இதுக்கும் dissolution பார்த்தா ditto the same தான். ரெண்டு entry extra. Purchase consideration due, purchase consideration received. அவ்வளவுதான். Have we taken up? Shall we move to case B? Case B பாருங்க. Case B சொல்லிருக்கோம். Equity shares are allotted in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio. Preference shares are to be taken by the partners in which ratio? Fixed capital ratio. So this will affect only this fund line. This part only will get affected or changed. Case B, start. Case B, if equity shares or if preference shares are taken in fixed. Clear, pardon? Okay, sorry. If equity shares are in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio. And the preference shares in which ratio? Fixed capital ratio. Credits will be the same. This adhe da irukum. Idu change agum. Equity shares and preference shares will change. Okay. How this will change? Preference share da marum. Equity share adhe da, no problem. Preference shares da marum. Clear? How this will change? Preference share in which ratio? Capital ratio. What is the ratio? What is the ratio of capital? 945 is to 567 is to 378. And the ratio will allocate pardon. Capital ratio. Take the fixed capital ratio. At the number 10,500, 6,300, then 4,200. 4,200. Equity shares in J. Equity shares in J. Then a ratio. Yes, same ratio. Profit sharing ratio. What is the profit sharing ratio? 5 is 2 is to 3 is to 5. Same as before. That change our. The balancing for will change. Balancing for will change. Take up this. Opening balance same. Current account is same. Realization profits are same. Preference shares are taken in which ratio? Capital ratio. Equity shares are taken in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio. The balancing figure settlement will change. Balancing figure, the amount settled and amount realized will be same. Anyhow, overall your cash account will tally. This is for case B. Any doubt in it? Next case part. Next case solirka. Equity shares are allotted in profit sharing ratio. Preference shares are to be allotted for which capital? Which capital? Surplus capital. What do you mean by surplus capital? Think பண்ணி try பண்ணுங்க. If equity shares are allotted in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio. Preference shares are allotted for surplus capital. Again. Equity shares are allotted in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio. Preference share will be allotted for surplus in capital. அப்ப இங்க cash balancing for எடுத்துக்காதீங்க. Cash வந்து balancing for எடுத்துக்காதீங்க. Our cash will be distributed in profit sharing ratio. What is the profit sharing ratio? 2 is to 3 is to 5. 2 is to 3 is to 5 ratio distribute பண்ணிட்டு வருது பாருங்க. Cash எவ்வளவு இருக்கு? This 44,100 2 is to 3 is to 5 ratio distribute பண்ணுங்க. எவ்வளவு வருது? 2 is to 3 is to 5 ratio. What is the amount? 8820. 30,000? 13230. Then 22,050. Wait பண்ணுங்க. Any partner is having a negative balance? Any partner is having a negative balance? Z is having a negative balance. எவ்வளவு balance இருக்கு? எவ்வளவு இருக்கு? 21,000. Why பாருங்க? Deficit இருக்கா? Surplus இருக்கு இல்லையா? எவ்வளவு? 6,300. This deficit or surplus, it will be transferred to excess capital. Okay. யாரு சர்ப்ளஸ் 6300 இருக்கா 6300 இருக்கு then x out the balance எவ்வளவு இருக்கு பாருங்க 35,000 35,700. Let us see the surplus capital and the highest relative capital method la podom இல்லையா அந்த மாதிரி போட்டு பார்க்கணும். What is unpaid balance? Sorry, what is the capital balance? Okay, அது தேவையில்லை. What is the balance you are getting? 21,000 வருது இல்லையா? This 21,000 deficit loss, it will be borne by whom? X and Y. X and Y. X and Y. It is not a dissolution. It is not a realization loss. It's not a capital loss also. It's just a deficit. Internal adjustment. It will be shared in the profit sharing ratio. What is the profit sharing ratio? Between X and Y? 2:3. 2:3 ratio and the 21,000 distribute. This balance will be distributed to what? X and Y in 2:3 ratio. Distribute பண்ணுங்க. அது only in case of insolvency. The insolvency level to find out surplus capital we do this adjustment. Okay, this is it a loss due to insolvency? The loss கிடையாது. Okay, since cash was distributed in profit sharing ratio, okay, this excess paid is adjusted in which ratio? Which ratio? Profit sharing ratio தான். Is it an insolvency loss? Is it an insolvency? Insolvency ல எதுமே இல்லை. இந்த 21,000 2:3 ரேஷியோல போடுங்க. to Z's capital எவ்வளவு வரும்? 2:3 ரேஷியோல போட்ட அந்த 21,000 8,400 and 12,600. இப்ப டாலி பண்ணுங்க. இந்த 21,000 balance is shared by X and Y in which ratio? 2:3 ratio. Then இவனுக்கு deficit வருது இல்லையா? இவனுக்கு எவ்வளவு டெபிசிட் வருது? பேலன்ஸ் 37,800 டெபிட்ல இருக்கு மைனஸ் 5670 மைனஸ் 15,498 மைனஸ் 10,332 போட்டு என்ன டெபிசிட் இருக்கு? 6,300. இது யார் பேர் பண்ணுவான்? பை எக்ஸ் அக்கௌண்ட், பை எக்ஸஸ் கேபிட்டல். அதான் லெஃப்ட் அவுட் 6,300 to Y's capital. To Y's capital it will be borne by whom? X only எவ்வளவு? 6,300. After bearing everything, if there is surplus left, that will be paid to preference shares in which company? J Limited. Check பண்ணி பாருங்க. I'll repeat or explain once again. Wait. எவ்வளவு பேலன்ஸ் 6,300 தானே? So what is the balance you are getting? 52,500 minus 8,820 minus 7,980 minus 8,400 minus 6,300 என்ன வரும்? 21,000 வரும். Check the preference shares in J Limited. How much is there? What is the preference shares in J Limited? 21,000. That surplus capital is paid. Surplus capital is paid. I'll repeat once again. Okay. Leave out this surplus capital. Leave out this Y's capital. Leave out this also. Now, this is a basic working area. Opening balance எவ்வளோ? 9450 5670 3780. Current account எவ்வளோ இருக்கு? 36,162 15,498. Realization profit transfer பண்ணியாச்சு. Cash was distributed in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio. Equity shares also in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio. Okay. We first close the partners capital account and check. X and Y is having a surplus. X and Y is having a surplus. Who's having a deficit? Who's having a deficit? Z is having a deficit. எவ்வளவு இருக்கு? 21,000. Wait பண்ணுங்க. இது insolvency loss கிடையாது. We are working on which capital? Is there an insolvency loss? Insolvency loss are not Garner versus Murray. You have to share it in which ratio? Capital ratio and all. Inge, it's a normal loss. Normal deficit 21,000. It will be shared in which ratio? This 21,000 of loss will be borne by the remaining partners in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio. What is a profit sharing ratio? What is a profit sharing ratio? 2:3 ratio. Wait பண்ணுங்க. இது ஷேர் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறமா Y out account tally பண்ணி பார்த்தா deficit வருது. What is the deficit in Y's account? What is the deficit in Y account? 6,300. This 6,300 will be borne by what? Z already நம்ம transfer பண்ணியாச்சு. Who is left out now? X is left out now. This will be borne by X. After bearing all the deficits or after adjusting. புரியல.
Last point but 3 repeat பண்ணுங்க.
First யாரோட capital close பண்றோம்? செக் பண்றோம். X and Y செக் பண்ணுங்க, surplus இருக்கும். பாருங்களேன். Credits minus debits போட்டா X and Y will have what? Surplus. Who is having a negative balance? Z. And the negative balance 21,000. Who will share this? X and Y will share this in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio. இப்ப tally பண்ணி பார்த்தா X க்கு surplus வரும், Y க்கு deficit வரும். Y க்கு என்ன வரும்? Deficit வரும். Y க்கு deficit எவ்வளவு வரும்? 6,300. This 6,300 will be borne by X. அதுக்கப்புறமா இன்னும் surplus எவ்வளவு இருக்கு? What is the surplus left out? 21,000. That will be settled in the form of what? Preferentiation J. So equity share and profit sharing ratio, cash and profit sharing ratio. First close which capital? First close all the capital check பண்ணி பாருங்க. X and Y is having a surplus. Firstல X and Y credit minus debit போட்டா both are having surplus. Who is having negative balance? Z. And the 21,000 will be borne by the other partners. Please remember it is not an insolvency loss. Insolvency loss is capital ratio. Okay. So the 2:3 la share பண்ணிங்க. Then after closing that, Y got a deficit. In 12,600 போடுறதுனால Y got a deficit. It will be ultimately borne by what? X. After bearing everything, what is the surplus left? 21,000. That is paid. Take up this. Deficit X and Y will bear this in 2:3 ratio first. Then Z's capital or deficit போட்டதுக்கு அப்புறமா we get X oda capital, that is transferred to X's capital. Then balance surplus capital is paid off. இந்த மாதிரி போடுறோம்னு சொன்னா கிளியரா சொல்லியிருக்கான். They ask you to distribute equity shares in profit sharing ratio. Of course, cash also will be distributed in profit sharing ratio. Obviously, ஒரு பார்ட்னருக்கு எக்ஸஸா பே பண்ணிருப்போம். Clear? Deficitனு சொல்றதை விட excess of Z is transferred to what? Y and Z. Excess of Y transferred to X. அதுக்கப்புறமா இருக்கிற surplus capital is paid to them. Settlement of X accounted out to Preferentiation J Limited. X accounted out to Preferentiation J Limited. Otherwise, the preferential received from the purchasing company is allotted only to what? X, who's having the ultimate surplus. Cash is shared in 2:3:5. Equity shares are shared in profit sharing ratio. And preference shares are allotted only to what? X, because he is having the surplus capital after bearing all excess amounts paid. If shares of the company are to be issued to the partners in such numbers, in such scale losses, which will give them the partners for the reasons of holding alone, same rates as regards interest on capital and sharing of profits and losses as they had in partnership. Case D. Case D. என்ன சொல்லிருக்கான்? From case D, what do you understand? ரொம்ப simple. Partners order existing rates should continue. Existing rates should continue. Okay. Same rates as interest on capital and sharing of profit losses they had in the partnership. What is the meaning? Case deal, what do you understand? என்ன பேசிஸ்ல ஷேர் டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட் பண்ண சொல்லிருக்கான்? On what basis they ask you to distribute? Simple. Partners old profit sharing ratio la da rights irukonu. In the same method they should get dividend etc. So very simple. When you will get the rights and dividend in that ratio, shares should be allotted in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio. அதான் KCL already பண்ணிட்டோமே. KCA already என்ன பண்ணோம்? In KCA what did we do? When no information is given, what did we do? Preference shares were distributed in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio. Equity shares also distributed in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio. Right. Case D. Case D. To maintain the share of profits, dividends, rights in profit sharing ratio, equity and preference shares ought to be allotted in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio. So answer is same as which one? Is A. This is for case D. Okay. Next, we will move on to question number. Which question number? 27. 27. Yes. Anand, Sadhya, Siva and Gyan and partners sharing profit and losses in the ratio of 4:3:2:1. Balance sheet is given to us. Balance sheet is given to us. Read the question, we will solve. Read the question fully, then we will solve. They sell the fixed assets and allotted how many shares? 2125 shares kuduthirukanga. And they paid cash also. Stock and book debts realized at which value? Book value. Cost of realization amounted to how much? 450. Shiv had sufficient private assets now. That money will be brought in by Shiv. If there is anything to be paid by Shiv, he will bring the money. Shall we? Start with which account? Start. Let us do it together. This is question number
27.
Realization account. Transfer assets. Let us transfer assets individually. What are the assets? To machinery account. How much? 40,000. Apram to which one? To goodwill, how much?
10,000.
Then to book debts,
8,000.
8,000. Book debts, 8,000. Apram. Stock, how much? 4,000. Apram. Current account will not come. What are the liabilities?
Accounts payable.
Accounts payable, how much?
10,000.
Accounts payable 10,000. Then that's it. Okay, so who's the company purchasing? Look at the adjustments. No, solirikam. How many shares are allotted? 2125 shares at 13 rupees and cash how much? 10,000. We can come from Sardar Limited account. We are getting a cash of how much? 10,000 by shares in Sardar Limited. எவ்வளவு shares allot பண்றாங்க? 2125 shares. What is the value? 13. Actually, separate working code போடலாம். Otherwise, this is the purchase consideration. Cash and shares allotted becomes which one? Purchase consideration. So, purchase consideration due, what is the entry? Sardar Limited account data or to which account? Realization account. How much? 37,625. Actually, we can do a separate working note also for this, or whatever is the ledger balance, you can take it here. Cash and shares allotted. So how this will come? By Sardar Limited account, how much? You can do a separate working note also, like cash this much, shares this much, total purchase consideration is this much. Thereafter come to the entry like a realization account. There is a Sardar Limited account data to realization account. Then cash, shares, etc. you can record. Now, is there any asset not taken over by the company which we are selling? Yes. By cash or bank account. By cash or bank account, sale of asset not taken over by the company. What are the assets? What are the assets we are selling? Book debts. Book debts we are selling for book value. Stock also we are selling for book value. 4,000. We realize how much? 12,000. Realization expense. Realization account data or to which account? To cash or bank account.
450.
Expenses. Expense how much? 450. And look at the problem. Look at the question. Wait. The firm was dissolved to prepare ledger accounts. The partners agreed to sell the fixed assets only. The partners agreed to sell fixed assets, which means the company is purchasing only what? The company is purchasing only assets. Are they taking over liability? Are they taking over liability? If the liability is not taken over, who has to pay? The firm has to pay. The firm has to pay. Come back. Accounts payable. Accounts payable. How much you have to pay? 10,000 you have to pay. So total of 10,450 will come. Accounts payable is not taken over by the purchasing company. The liability should be settled by what? The firm. Now go words clear use pandra. Is the business taken over? Is the business taken over? Or only fixed assets are taken over? Only fixed assets are taken over. So expenses we have to bear, then accounts payable also we have to settle. 10,450 varum. Tally பண்ணுங்க. Tally பண்ணா loss or profit? Loss. By partners capital account. What is the loss? Who are the partners? நிறைய பேர் இருக்காங்களே. ASSG. What is the loss? $12,825. Share the loss in a ratio. 4 by 10. 3 by 10. Four is to 3 is to 2 is to 1 ratio. We received a cash consideration of 1,000. We sold assets for 12,000 and we paid liabilities and expenses 10,450. Then start capital account of partners. By balance brought down. A 30,000, yes.
20,000.
Yes. 3,000. Huh? G to balance brought down. Then to realization loss. What is the loss? Realization loss account பண்ணியாச்சு. Then what is the next one? The shares and ratio distribute பண்ணணும்.
Profit.
To shares in S Limited, distribute in profit sharing ratio. $27,625 into 4/10. The balancing for can be by cash to cash put. G has to bring money. 8090. Others will get it நினைக்கிறேன். To cash or bank account. Others will get it. Oh, G is not having any private assets and which one? Liabilities. அப்போ வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க. இப்போ க்ளோஸ் பண்ண தப்பு, நம்ம பண்ண தப்பு. Oh, I thought sufficient assets and சொன்னாங்க. வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க. Oh, second partner is having sufficient assets.
The third part.
Okay, now இப்போ the shares distribute பண்ண முடியாது. Shares distribute பண்ண முடியாது இல்லையா? Cash also we cannot bring in. So what is the balance he has to bring in? How much he has to bring in? How much G has to bring in? இல்ல. The 1,000, who's having negative balance? G இல்லையா? What is the loss? 1,000 plus 1282.5. 282. Okay. By deficit of which partner? Deficit of G எவ்வளவு இருக்கு?
2,282.
2,280.
2,282. 82.5.
This should be borne by whom?
Yes.
It will be transferred to A and S. In which ratio? AS? Yes. Any ratio? இல்லையே 30,000 20,000 the deficiency இல்லையா insolvency இல்லையா it's like insolvency தானே if you are not having any assets private assets இல்ல private liability இல்லைன்னா you have to pay you are not paying அப்ப என்ன ஆகும் it's like insolvency it's like which one insolvency it's like it's not a deficit it's an insolvency loss okay otherwise you can say insolvency loss will be borne by whom A, yes, yes. என்ன ரேஷியோல பேர் பண்ணிப்பாங்க? Okay, capital ratio. What is the capital ratio? 30 is to
30 to 20 to 3.
20 is to 3 ratio bear பண்ணிக்கணும். The loss due to insolvency should be borne by the remaining partners in capital ratio. See, look at G is not having any. G is not having any. Which one? Private assets இல்ல liabilities இல்ல. அப்ப எப்படி pay பண்ண மாட்டான் இல்லையா? And the deficit should be borne by the other partners in which ratio? Capital ratio. To G's capital, first அதை bear பண்ணுங்க. என்னது 30 is to 20 is to 3 ratio போடுங்க. This into 30 by 53. 1292.
1.1.
This into 20 by 53. 361 வச்சுக்கலாம். 861
Point
point விட்டுடுங்க. Then this one will be
129.21.
this into 3 by 53. Okay, maybe 129 வச்சுக்கலாம். 0.5 difference வரும். Maybe like this one 61.5 வச்சுக்கலாம். Round up பண்ணிக்கலாம். Because 2 to 8 வரணும் இல்லையா total. 2 to 82.5. So this is the deficit to be borne by the other party. Then now to shares. Yes, Garner versus Murray rule only we are applying. Cash has to be brought in by the solvent partners. அது தேவையில்லை because remaining partnersக்கு நம்ம shares allot பண்ண போறோம். Cash sufficient இருக்கு கொண்டு வர தேவையில்லை. அல்ல வேணும்னாலும் போட்டுக்கலாம், no problem. By cash, Garner versus Murray rule. Garner versus Murray rule. The solvent partner should bring in what? Cash equal to share of loss of realization. எவ்வளவு கொண்டு வரணும்? 5130, 3847.5, 2565. The solvent partners will bring in what? Cash equal to the share of loss and realization. Then, two shares in, wait பண்ணுங்க, two shares in which company? S Limited. Two shares in S Limited will be shared by whom? A, S, S. அவங்களோட profit sharing ratio என்ன? What is the profit sharing ratio between A, S, S? 4 is to 3 is to 2. Shares in S Limited will be shared by ASS in their ratio. What is the ratio? 4 is to 3 is to 2 ratio. So what is the shares in S Limited? The 27,625 into 4 by 9. 4 by 9. 12,000. This into 3 by 9. 9208. The third partner, this into 2 by 9. 61. So shares எடுத்துப்பாங்க. The balance will be settled in cash. The balance, if any, will be settled in what? Cash.
Same means ASS for the ratio இல்லையா sir?
என்னது? இல்ல. Balancing for. கொண்டு வரணும். By cash, balancing further. This has to be brought in. Once again, I repeat. G is having a debit balance. G is having a debit balance, deficit balance. It is clearly mentioned in the problem that he is not having any private assets or private liabilities. அவனுக்கு தனி asset இல்ல liability இல்லைன்னா how will he bring in money? So he becomes like equal to what? Insolvent. That loss due to insolvency will be borne by what? The remaining partners in which ratio? Capital ratio. Then Garner versus Murray rule. The solvent partners should bring cash equal to the share of loss and realization. அது கொண்டு வந்துடுறாங்க. Then shares in A Limited is divided amongst the partners in 4 is to 3 is to 2 ratio. The balancing for is paid. You have to verify with cash or bank account. You have to verify with cash or bank account. To Sharda Limited, எவ்வளவு பர்ச்சேஸ் வாங்கியிருக்கோம்? Cash consideration
10,000.
10,000 to realization of assets. Assets realized, எவ்வளவு realize பண்ணிருக்கோம்? 12,000. அந்த Garner versus Murray rule A, yes கொண்டு வந்த cash. A, how much he brought in? The 5130. B, how much he brought in? 3847.
38.
Last partner ரெண்டு கொண்டு வந்திருக்கோம் 2565 plus 3268 and the ரெண்டு balance amounts.
5,8.
This one plus this one, two amounts he brought in.
5,8.
By realization, that is expenses, bills payable எல்லாம் pay பண்ணிருவோமே 10,450. By final settlement, by A, by S, by A and S. Total பண்ணி பாருங்க tally ஆகுது. Yes. So in the partner's capital, we record capital balances. Last partner is having a debit balance. Then realization loss is transferred. G is not having any private assets, so he became insolvent. So that insolvency loss is borne by what? The remaining solvent partners in which ratio? Capital ratio. That insolvency loss is borne. Thereafter, the solvent partners bring in what? Cash equal to the share of loss in realization. Then shares are distributed amongst the remaining solvent partners in which ratio? 4:3:2. Then the balance is settled in cash, a deficit is brought in. He is having sufficient balance, he brings it in cash. So purchase consideration, assets realized, then partners bring in money, realization expenses, then the balance paid to the partners, yes, cash also tallies. Okay, sale to a company is clubbed with which one? Insolvency. Copied, huh? Any doubt in this? Shall we?
நீங்க முன்னாடி போட்ட மாதிரி கார்னர் வாசல் முறையில நம்ம கேஷ் கொண்டு வரோம் ஈக்குவல் டு தேர் லாஸ் சப்போஸ் அப்படி இல்லாமையும் பண்ணணும் அந்த மெத்தட்
இல்ல கண்டிப்பா பண்ணணும். கார்னர் வெர்சஸ் முறை ரூல் போனாலும் the solvent partners must bring in cash equal to the share of loss of realization. Any insolvency loss, if a partner, one partner becomes insolvent, they have to bring. If all partners become insolvent, they cannot bring.
அப்போ எந்த சமயம் இன்சால்வென்ட்னு ஒரு வார்த்தை வச்சனாலே கார்னர்
ஆமா. This 28th question will look like same like amalgamation of companies. Read this. ABC were in partnership sharing which ratio? 2:1:1 ratio. The balance sheet is given to us. Read this. Fixed capital ABC, current account AB is given, unsecured creditors, fixed assets, investment stock, debtors bank is given. On 1st April, the new company will take over. What is a capital? 10,000 shares of 10 each will take over as a going concern. Goodwill will be valued at 3 years purchase of super profit. Actual profit for the purpose of which one? Goodwill valuation is how much? 1 lakh கொடுத்திருக்கா. Normal rate of return is how much? 10% on fixed capital கொடுத்திருக்கா. All other assets and liabilities are taken over at book value. Purchase consideration is paid partly in shares and partly in what? Cash. Payment in cash is being to meet the requirement to discharge what? A, who agreed to what? Retire. B and C acquire what? Equal interest in the new company. Expense on liquidation amounted to how much? 4,000. So purchase consideration, the cash consideration alone we decide later. Purchase consideration we can work out, but how much will be paid in cash we cannot decide at the first side. Okay, we have to prepare the capital account to the partner. We have to see how much we have to pay to the retiring partner. Then based on that only we can decide how much of cash is required. Okay, so whether consideration is given the problem? No. So same like amalgamation, you have to work out assets minus liabilities. Assets minus liabilities for consideration. Start. All assets and liabilities are taken over. All assets and liabilities are taken over, excluding which balance? Cash and bank balance. Start. Computation of purchase consideration. Question number 28. Computation of purchase consideration. First, we have to value goodwill. Goodwill valuation. What is the average profit given? 1 lakh. Less normal profit. Normal profit என்ன பேஸ்ல கொடுத்திருக்கோம் பாருங்க. Normal profit 15% on fixed capital. What is the fixed capital? 200, 100 and 100. 200, 100 and 100. Rupees in thousands. Actually, the rupees in thousands. 200, 100 and 100 எவ்வளவு இருக்கும்? 400,000, which means 4 lakhs. Into all return 15% and over 60,000. So super profit, average profit minus normal profit. What is super profit? 40,000. So based on this, we have to value the goodwill. Goodwill is valued at every years. Super profit into 3 years. So 40,000 into 3 years. 1,20,000. Goodwill. Take up this. All other assets and liabilities at what value? Book value. Fixed assets எவ்வளவு இருக்கு? How much fixed assets? 3 lakhs. Then current assets? இல்ல சொல்லுங்க. Investments. அப்புறம் stock. Then debtors. What about cash and bank balance? Clearly specified except cash and bank balance. Excluding cash and bank balance to கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. That is not taken over. Then liabilities என்ன இருக்கு? Creditors. Creditors how much? How much? 2 lakhs. Less panna. This will give us net assets. That is nothing but purchase consideration. This 4,30,000 is paid in the form of what? Shares and which one? Cash. That proportion we cannot work out now. We can work out only after preparing the capital account. Because all partners are not going to continue in the new company. Some partner retire, அவங்களுக்கு cash வேற நம்ம settle பண்ணணும். You have to pay, settle the cash. So how much in shares, how much in cash, we cannot decide now. We have to prepare capital account. After that, we will work out that particular portion. Any doubt in it? Goodwill, 3 years purchase of super profit. Average profit minus normal profit gives us super profit, that into 3 years. Other assets minus liabilities put in over the purchase consideration. The proportion of shares and cash we will come back to later. Start which account? Start realization account. Realization account we can put to sundry assets. Okay. Sundry assets total minus cash balance. 660 minus 150. Example போடும்போது செப்பரேட்டா போடுங்க. 6 how much? 6 minus எவ்வளவு வரும்? 5 lakh. Other minus. Oh, cash and bank, yeah, minus 150. That's why we are not transferring. Otherwise, fixed assets, investment, stock, data set 660 minus 150. So 5,10,000. Then, what are the liabilities? By creditors. Creditors எவ்வளவு இருக்கு? 2 lakh 10,000. 2 lakhs. Huh?
2 lakhs.
Then by purchasing company, what is the name of the purchasing company?
BC.
BC.
Hello? 4,30,000. Okay. In this problem, any sale of asset not taken over? Any sale of asset not taken over? Any payment of liabilities to be done? Any sale of asset not taken over? Any payment of liabilities to be done? No. So no by cash, no to cash. Liquidation expense irukka?
Yes.
To cash or bank? For the expenses. Eவ்வளவு இருக்கு liquidation expenses?
40,000.
40,000. Any other thing? Liquidation expenses 40,000. That's all. We can tally this. Tally panna to realization profit. This will be transferred to whom? Which partner? Who are the partners? A, B, C. What is the profit? $80,000. Huh? How much of profit? Share 2:1:1 quota. 40,000, 20,000, 20,000. So when you prepare this company account, purchasing company account, to realization okay. To realization எவ்வளவு இருக்கும்? 4,30,000 is okay. எவ்வளவு shares in BCP?
10,000 shares.
தெரியாது. Value தெரியாது. By cash component we do not know. This we do not know. Because this depends on how much to be settled to the outgoing partner, retiring partner. This amount we will fill it up later. This amount we will fill it up later. So realization account we prepared and closed. The purchasing company account we cannot decide now. We have to see based on the cash availability. Based on which one? Cash availability. We can come to that only after preparing the cash account. Start next. Which account? Partners capital account. Try பண்ணுங்களேன். Partners capital account. Try it. Capital account of partners. Who are the partners? By balance brought down. 2 lakhs?
1 lakh.
1 lakh? By current account?
20,000.
40,000 and 20,000. By realization profit? Any doubt in this? Now, who has to be paid? A retires, இல்லையா? A has to be paid. எவ்வளவு pay பண்ணணும்? 2,80,000 pay பண்ணணும். To cash or bank account. It's a balancing figure. How much? 2,80,000 we have to settle. Now, don't close B account, C account. We cannot close B account and C account. We have to prepare which account? Cash account to verify whether we have got 2,80,000 to settle. Shall we? Cash or bank account, cash or bank account. Okay. To balance brought down. The opening balance is not taken over by the company. What is opening balance? 1,50,000 is left with us. Then, any asset realized by us? No. By realization expenses. எவ்வளவு expense pay பண்ணிருக்கோம்? 40,000 pay பண்ணிருக்கோம். Then, by A's capital to settle A, we require how much? 2,80,000 we require. Okay. Now, what is the cash shortage? What is the cash shortage?
1,70,000.
This we will ask the purchasing company to pay to BC Private Limited. Okay, it's a balancing figure. Okay, we will ask the purchasing company to pay this much in cash. Evola balance? 1,70,000. 70,000. We'll ask them to pay it in cash. Okay, we'll ask how much the purchasing company? 1,70,000 to pay it in cash. Wait பண்ணுங்க. But now when you come to the purchase consideration calculation, what is the cash component? What is the cash component required? 1,70,000. Balance on the shares la vaangum. 4,30,000 la we'll ask 1,70,000 in shares. Cash balance in shares. So shares will be 2,60,000. Cash will be 1,70,000. So we cannot do this without preparing which account? Cash account and settling outgoing partner or retiring partner. So retiring partner ku 2,80,000 pay பண்ணனும். Cash la shortage இருக்கிறது we'll ask the purchasing company to pay it in cash. The balance we'll take it in what? Shares. Done. Next, take this working also. And please note here, because revise பண்ணும்போது புரியாது, please note here, this cash is nothing but what? Balancing figure in which account? Cash account. That's a balancing figure in cash account. This 1,70,000 is a balancing figure in cash account. Note it. Wait பண்ணுங்க. How they want to continue in the company? B and C are to acquire what? Equal interest in the new company, which means they want to become like 50-50 shareholders. So the shares will be allotted to them. To whom? B and C. To equity shares in BC Private Limited. Eவ்வளோ? 1,30,000 and 1,30,000. Okay sir, shortage surplus இருந்தா உங்க கேஷ்ல கொண்டு வந்து செட்டில் பண்ணிக்கணும் அவ்வளவுதான். B க்கு பாருங்க 1,40,000 கிரெடிட்ல இருக்கு, டெபிட்ல 1,30,000 இருக்குன்னா you will get the balance. Cash account balancing figure. இது யார் கொண்டு வரணும்? அடுத்தவங்க கொண்டு வர மாதிரி இருக்கும். எக்ஸாக்ட்டா டேலி ஆகும். எவ்வளவு இருக்கு? 10,000 இருக்கும் இந்த balancing figure. Who will pay this? By cash account. C ல பார்த்தா 10,000 shortage இருக்கும். Okay, the surplus. B has a surplus. It will be returned to B. That will be brought in by what? C. Otherwise, எப்படி நீங்க equal shareholder ஆக முடியும் இல்லையா? இல்ல, ஃபார்ம் ரிசீவ் பண்ணி நாம தான் பே பண்ணணும். Done. So it's a beautiful construction where we work out. It's like amalgamation of companies மாதிரியே கேட்டிருக்கான். We value goodwill, we find out net assets, purchase consideration. Cash versus shares, we cannot decide first. So we prepare which account? A realization account, purchasing company account, then capital account prepare பண்ணி, first we close a retiring partner. Who's a retiring partner? A is retiring means he is getting back in cash. So cash account tile பண்ணீங்கன்னா 1,50,000 opening balance இருக்கு. We paid realization expenses. We have to settle A 2,80,000. The balancing for we will ask the company to pay. எவ்வளோ? 1,70,000. We will ask for cash component. Balance will be paid in shares. The shares are to be taken up by B and C in ratio, equal ratio, because they want to have equal shareholding in the new company. The surplus balance is paid to B and shortage, if any, is brought in by what? C. The concept is same. Dissolution. Realization account, cash account, capital account. The adjustment depends on the problem, depends on the question. Shall we proceed? Ora. Question number 29. Par. ARM carrying business in a ratio 5:4:3 respectively. Trial balance is given to us. Which balance? trial balance is given to us. Trading profit for the year கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. மத்த எல்லாமே assets and liabilities இல்லையா? Plant and machinery, stock, debtors. Then we are given capital account of Avinash and Rohit. Okay. ARM கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. அவினாஷோட drawings account கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. ரோஹித்தோட drawings account எல்லாம் கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. All these are adjustments of capital. All these are adjustments of capital. Trading profit for the year is given. Depreciation of which one? Plant and machinery. Nothing but provision for depreciation. Provision for depreciation. இது cost value. Debit side ல கொடுத்தது என்ன value இது? Cost. Credit side ல கொடுத்தது accumulated depreciation. This is like accumulated depreciation. We are given trading profit for the year. Then interest on capital at the rate of what? 10% standing amount of the credit of the partner's capital account at the beginning of the year was not provided while preparing what? The above trial balance. We have to provide interest on capital. How much percentage? 10%. So 10 interest on capital provide பண்ணேன் ஆகும். Interest on capital provide பண்ணேன் ஆகும். We have to share the profit. What is the profit? 1,29,800 இருக்கு இல்லையா? What is the trading profit given? 1,29,800. 1,29,800 கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Net profit as per P&L account. This is question number. Trading profit given 1,29,800. Then less interest on capital. Interest on capital. What is interest on capital? Partners or capital பாருங்க. Look at the interest on capital. 753. What is the total? 1 lakh? 1,50,000 இருக்கு. 1 lakh? What is the capital total? 1 lakh?
50,000.
Into எவ்வளவு percent interest? 10% என வரும். 15,000. Drawings எல்லாம் reduce பண்ணக்கூடாது. Interest on capital தானே கொடுத்திருக்கோம். என்ன கொடுத்திருக்கோம்? Clear wordings யூஸ் பண்றப்ப. Interest on capital 10% on the amount standing at the credit of partners capital account at the beginning of the year. Drawings எல்லாம் கொடுத்துக்கூடாது. They are asking you to charge which one? Interest on capital only. So போட என்ன வருது பாருங்க. How much you get? 15,000. Balance net profit to be shared amongst partners. The 1,29,800 ல interest on capital போக balance profit என்ன பண்ணணும்? Share பண்ணிக்கணும். Wait பண்ணுங்க. We'll work out capital account of partners. Capital balance. Okay, who are the partners? Who are the partners? ARM. What is the capital balance given? Account down போடலாம் இல்ல statement down காட்டலாம். 70,000, 50,000, 30,000. Add interest on capital. Interest on capital எவ்வளவு? 10% na 7,000, 5,000, 3,000. Add net profit share. Net profit share வந்து இந்த 1,44,800 என்ன ரேஷியோல? Okay, 1,14,800 என்ன ரேஷியோல ஷேர் பண்ணணும்? 5:4:3. 5:4:3 ரேஷியோல ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க. 47,833. Okay. 38,267. 28. Less drawings. Less drawings. What is the drawings given for the partner? 30,000. 25,000. 20,000. இது பண்ணா closing capital balance. Closing capital balance after adjusting everything. Okay, after providing interest on capital, all these things will come. This is what at the time of dissolution we will take it as by balance brought down. By balance brought down எடுத்துப்போம். So by balance brought down எடுத்துக்கும் போது again don't provide interest on capital drawings எல்லாம் adjust பண்ணாதீங்க. Clear? This is the closing balance after apportioning in profit, interest on capital, adjusting drawings and all. Then மத்தெல்லாம் as usual தான். இதான் ஒண்ணே ஒரு difficulty. மத்தெல்லாம் as usual தான். என்ன கொடுத்திருக்கான் பாருங்க. Plant and machinery was transferred at how much? 80,000. Then equity shares of 10 each to be allotted to the partners at par in such a way that for the reason of the shareholding alone, they will have the same rights in sharing profits and losses which they had in partnership. Balance, if any, in which ratio? Capital ratio by giving how much? 7%, 7.5% preference shares at what value? Par value கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Before transferring the business, the partners withdrew cash from partnership to the following amounts over and above the amount shown in the trial balance. இதை படிக்க முட்டமே. So one more drawings are here. So one more drawings. Less drawings given in the adjustment. Drawings given in the adjustment. எவ்வளவு drawings கொடுத்திருக்காங்க? 20,000. 10,600. 14,000. இதுவும் adjust பண்ணிக்கணும். அப்போ cash balance also will get adjusted. To this extent, the cash balance also will get adjusted. 44,800 will be adjusted from cash balance. What was the cash balance? Cash balance 94,800 minus 44,800 போடுங்க. இருக்கும் 50,000 இருக்கும். Cash balance after this drawing it will become what? 50,000. All these things happens before dissolution. Okay. Take up this, then we will proceed. First take up this, then we will proceed. The word trading profit is given. Trading profit is calculated after providing depreciation. Financial management, ratio analysis, fund flow, cash flow. Trading profit means net profit as per P&L. That is after charging all working expenses. That includes depreciation also. Shall we proceed? Try to work out purchase consideration for this problem. Try to work out consideration for this problem. Now cash balance you should take only 50,000, not 94,800. Cash balance 94,800 இருந்தது, but அதில் என்ன பண்ணிட்டாங்க? 44,800 was withdrawn by partners. So for all computational purposes, we will take 50,000. And this is a capital balance after all adjustments, that is prior to dissolution. What are the assets? Machinery, how much? Machinery, how much? 80,000. Then, what is the next one? Other assets. What are the other assets? Stock, debtors, you can take book value. Stock, how much? 60,200. Then, debtors, how much? 85,000. Then, bank balance. Bank balance also will be taken over by the company. 50,000.
Bank balance.
என்ன சொல்லிருக்கான்? இல்ல all assets and liabilities except plant and machinery. அப்படின்னு என்ன அர்த்தம்னா, read the sentence properly. அதாவது என்ன சொல்லிருக்கானா, all assets and liabilities except which one? Plant and machinery and also bank balance are to be transferred at what value? Book value. அப்படின்னு என்ன அர்த்தம்னா, assets and liability book value எடுத்துக்கோ, except which one? Plant and machinery ன்னு அர்த்தம். Even The read பண்ணுங்க ப்ராப்பரா. All assets and liabilities except plant and machinery and bank balance are to be transferred at what value? Book value. Plant and machinery, there is a revised value. Bank balance subject to what? The drawings. Bank balance subject to drawings that is transferred by to the company. So company takes over bank balance also. Where are the assets irka? Any other assets? Less liabilities என்ன இருக்கு? Creditors. எவ்வளவு creditors இருக்காங்க பாருங்க. So போட்டீங்கன்னா you will get purchase consideration. What is the purchase consideration? $1,70,000 is the purchase consideration. இதுல preference shares எவ்வளோ, equity shares எவ்வளோ இப்போ ஒர்க் அவுட் பண்ண முடியாது.
இது கேஷ் அக்கௌண்ட்.
Cash account இல்ல, capital account ல போட்டு we have to see the profit sharing ratio, surplus capital, அதை base பண்ணி we have to work out what? Preference share capital and which one? Equity share capital. இந்த ப்ராப்ளத்துல piecemeal distribution இதையும் combine பண்ணிருப்போம். We'll see. So any doubt in purchase consideration? Assets minus liabilities. A bank balance 50,000 after drawings taken by the company. Bank balance also taken over by the company. Creditors are also taken over by the company. Purchase consideration. We will decide how much equity share and preference share later. Shall we start? Which account next? Realization account. Start with realization account. Don't put sundry assets, separate போட்டுக்கலாம். Machinery, net book value. What is the cost given in the liability? There is debit side. 1,05,000 minus 35,000. All assets should be transferred at book value தானே. 1,05,000 minus 35,000 என்ன வரும்? 70,000. To machinery 70,000. வேற என்ன assets இருக்கு? To stock book value 60,200. To debtors book value how much? 85,000. Even to bank account will come. Why bank account will come? நம்மள bank transfer பண்ண மாட்டோம் இங்க, but bank can transfer பண்றோம். That is left with us or taken over by the purchasing company. Taken over by the purchasing company. Bank balance also taken over by the purchasing company. அதான் இங்க இன்க்ளூட் பண்ணிருக்கோம். Purchase consideration ல 50,000 இன்க்ளூட் பண்ணோம். Even the bank balance is taken over by what? The purchasing company. Where it is given? Look at the adjustment. கொடுத்திருக்காம் பாருங்க adjustmentல. All assets and liabilities except plant and machinery and bank balance ought to be taken transferred at what value? Book value. Bank balance is also taken over by the purchasing company. Total amount bank balance 50,000. Liabilities என்ன இருக்கு? By creditors 50,000. Then by purchasing company, who is the purchasing company?
That's 1,05,000.
Purchasing company எவ்வளவு? Who is the purchasing company? இது யாரு? Okay, AR Private Limited account. What is the purchase consideration? 1 lakh. Tally பண்ணுங்க, you will get the profit or loss. Is it a profit or loss? Realization profit 10,000. This will be transferred to whom? A and M. In a ratio 5:4:3. எவ்வளவு வரும்? 4167. So realization profit transferred. இது Then when you prepare AR private limited account, the prepare பண்ணீங்கன்னா to realization எவ்வளோ realization amount 1,70,000. இதுல எவ்வளோ but is by equity shares, by preference shares. This component we have to decide later. This we can do it only after preparing which account? Capital account. Surplus capital லாம் பார்த்தா போட முடியும். Please remember the cash is also taken over. No cash is left with us. Start. Which account next? Partners capital. By balance brought down, that is after adjustment. After adjustment, போட்டோம் இங்க தான் 74,000. This one 833 or 57,667 M 27.5. Then by realization profit 4167 33333 2,500. இப்போ how to share which one? Equity shares எவ்வளோ தரணும், preference shares எவ்வளோ தரணும். Each partners, how much they will get it in the form of which one? Equity share and which one? Preference share. We don't have a cash. Whether cash is with the firm or it is taken over by the company. Cash is taken over by the company. It is not with the firm. Cash is not there with us. Any current account balances? Balance sheet la paru. No, already closed. Everything is adjusted. How to decide this? Now read the adjustment. Read the adjustment. Point number 2, pardon. Equity shares of the company is to be issued at par. Okay, to ensure that, to ensure that their shareholding alone, they will have the same rate as which one? Profit sharing ratio, which they had in partnership. Which they had in partnership. Equity shares தரும்போது ensure that they are, that is in which ratio? What is the ratio? 5:4:3 ratio. Then preference shares வந்து balance தரணும். amount கொடுத்தா சிம்பிளா போட்டுடலாம். amount 1 lakh equity share னா 5:3:2 போட்டுடலாம். Then preference share 70,000 அதை வந்து balance கொடுத்துட்டு balancing பூரா கொடுத்துடலாம். But the problem is we are not given the value of equity and preference. We know the total consideration. What is the total consideration? 1,70,000 ல எவ்வளவு preference share component, எவ்வளவு equity share component? எப்படி work out பண்ணது? Suppose 1,70,000 ல 1 lakh equity share னா எடுத்து அந்த profit sharing ratio ல போட்டு balancing figure preference share allot பண்ணிருக்கலாம். Both are not given. Both are not given now. Then we have to go by the capital and profit sharing ratio method. Which method? Capital and which method? Profit sharing ratio method. Listen. Piecemeal distribution இப்பதானே பண்ணோம். Hope you remember. Okay, who are the partners? A or M. Okay. Capital balance. Capital balance means after adjustments 74,833 plus 4167. A இருக்கு, R எவ்வளவு இருக்கு? 57 plus this one. M எவ்வளவு இருக்கு? 27,500 plus 2,500. 30,000 இருக்கு. Debit side எதுவுமே கிடையாது. There is no realization loss or negative capital etc. So this is a capital balance. This is a capital balance. That is opening balance plus realization loss. Okay, wait பண்ணுங்க. What is the profit sharing ratio? 5:4:3. Capital for one share of profit. 79,000 divided by 5. 79,000 divided by 5 போட்டா 15,800. அதே மாதிரி ஒன்னு டிவைட் பண்ணுங்க. Okay. Now what we should do? Taking the lowest as the base. Taking the lowest as the base, we have to work out the required capital. So taking M as the base. So putting in 10,000 into 5. 10,000 into 5, 50,000. 10,000 into 5, 50,000. You know 10,000 into 4. 10,000 into 4. Into 4 how much? 40,000. Last one. 10,000 into 3. 30,000 வரும். இது வந்து required capital மாதிரி இதை ஆட் பண்ணி பாருங்க. 50,000 plus 40,000 plus 30,000. இது வந்து equity shareல வாங்கிடுவோம். We'll get this in which one? Equity shares. Equity sharesல எவ்வளவு வாங்கிடுவோம்? 1,20,000. So that it can be distributed in profit sharing ratio. What is the profit sharing ratio? 5:4:3. But total purchase consideration எவ்வளவு? Total purchase consideration எவ்வளவு? 1,70,000. Balance we will get it in preference shares. Balance in which one? Preference shares. Balance எவ்வளவு இருக்கும்? 50,000 in preference shares. செக் வேணா பண்ணி பார்க்கலாம். Surplus capital பாருங்களேன். 79,000 minus 50,000. போட்ட எவ்வளவு பேலன்ஸ் இருக்கு? 21,000 இருக்கும். இவனுக்கு 61,000 minus 40,000 போட என்ன வரும்? 21,000 வரும். Sorry. 79 minus 50. 79 minus 50 என்ன வரும்? 29,000. அதனை பார்த்து 21,000 இருக்கு. இவனுக்கு சர்ப்ளஸ் இருக்காது. So this will be okay. This will be allotted in which one? Equity shares. Equity shares. Surplus will be allotted in which shares? Preference shares. Surplus will be allotted in which one? Preference shares. So, இப்போ equity shares எவ்வளவு தர போறோம்? 50,000, 40,000 and 30,000. 50,000, 40,000, 30,000. Then preference share எவ்வளவு தர போறோம்? 29,000 and 21,000. M க்கு எதுவும் கிடைக்காது because there is no surplus. Tally பண்ணி பாருங்க அக்கவுண்ட் tally ஆகும். It's a fantastic problem. It's a fantastic problem. It covers all the concepts. Dissolution concept. Tally பண்ணு. I will repeat the whole process in a minute. Please listen. Please listen. I repeat the whole process. Please listen. Any doubt in this capital balance? Finding out capital balance? Opening capital, interest on capital, net profit distribute பண்ணோம் minus drawings given in the adjustment. We get which one? Capital closing balance. அதான் இங்க by balance brought down வரும். Then wait பண்ணுங்க. We get purchase consideration, machinery, stock, debtors, bank balance after drawings minus creditors. What is the net assets? 1,70,000. இது எவ்வளவு preference share equity share இப்போ decide பண்ண முடியாது because it has to be decided based on what? How much is going to be allotted to partners. Then we prepare realization account. Assets, all assets at what value? Book value. Machinery, stock, debtors. Why are we transferring bank also here? That is also taken over by which company? Purchasing company. Creditors transfer பண்ணோம். Purchase consideration record பண்ணோம். Profit is transferred. This 1,70,000, how much in equity share, how much in preference share, we cannot decide now. We have to prepare which account? Partners capital account. By balance brought down, by realization profit pota. Opening balance plus this one comes to 79,000, 61,000 and what? 30,000 வருது. It is mentioned in the problem. Look at point number 2 once again. To understand better, look at the point number 2 once again. என்ன கொடுத்திருக்கான்? To ensure that by reason their shareholding alone, they will have what? Same rate of which ratio? Profit and loss as they had in partnership. Equity share should be allotted in which proportion? Equity share should be allotted in which proportion? Profit sharing ratio proportion. Balance surplus capital will be paid in the form of what? Preference share nu kuduthirukkom. But the problem is amount is not given. We know total consideration is 1,70,000. In that, what is the equity component? What is the preference component? We do not know. So same like the piecemeal distribution method we discussed, where we work out capital for one share of profit. Taking the lowest as a base, we work out which one? Required capital. This required capital is like a fixed capital that will be allocated in which ratio? Allotted in which one? Equity shares. The surplus will be allotted in the form of which one? Preference share. So 1,20,000 in equity share, 50,000 in preference share. Total makes it to what? 1,70,000. So equity share of profit sharing ratio distribute பண்ணுங்க. Surplus வந்து preference shareல pay பண்ணுங்க. You will find the total of the capital account also tallies. So unless the student has understood the complete partnership chapter, it is very difficult. இதுக்கு முன்னாடி even valuation of goodwill is also covered இல்லையா? No, not goodwill. And interest on capital, adjusting the capital and finding out the balance. That also you should understand to solve this problem. A very good problem that can be tested. Capital and profit sharing ratio, taking M as a base because he is the lowest one. Other base பண்ணி நம்ம work out பண்ற method. 50, 40, 30. This will be allotted in equity shares. Surplus will be allotted in the form of which one? Preference shares. இங்க வந்து ஈக்விட்டி ஷேர்ஸ் எவ்வளோ 1,20,000, ப்ரிஃபரன்ஸ் ஷேர்ஸ் எவ்வளோ 50,000. அது கொடுத்தா டைரக்டா போட்டிருப்போம். இதனால தான் we work out all these things. ரொம்ப நம்ம மூணு அக்கௌண்ட் எக்ஸீட் ஆகல. என்ன அக்கௌண்ட்? ரியலைசேஷன் அக்கௌண்ட், கேபிட்டல் அக்கௌண்ட் அண்ட் கேஷ் ஆர் பேங்க் அக்கௌண்ட். இஸ் ஜஸ்ட் டு வெரிஃபை. இந்த ப்ராப்ளத்துல கேஷ் ஆர் பேங்க் இஸ் டேக்கன் ஓவர் பை வாட்? பர்ச்சேசிங் கம்பெனி. No cash transaction. All are taken over by purchasing company. We are not getting any cash from partner. Also, we are not getting any cash. No, so asset is sold privately. No liability is settled privately. So capital for one share of profit work out பண்ணி தேவையில்லை. A or தேவையில்லை. Because we are going to take what? Lowest as the base and work out. Equity share is allotted to maintain the profit sharing ratio. Surplus capital is settled in the form of which one? Preference shares. Shall we? Doubt இருக்காது. இந்த சம் முடிஞ்சது. நெக்ஸ்ட் சம் அடுத்தது போகிறோம். அப்படி என்ன? ஓகே. Not an issue. See, next question இருக்கு இல்லையா? Question number 30. Question number 30. I request you to try at home. I will give the solution in video form only for those who work out this problem. Okay, recorded class students, live online students, or physical class students, try to work out. Who are the partners? NJV are partners. One of the beautiful problem in sale of a firm to a company. Okay. You clear up கொடுத்திருப்பான். Motor car, furniture, investment, loose tools, debtors and cash are not taken over by the company. liability for bills payable and bank ODR taken over by the company. ரொம்ப கேர்ஃபுல்லா ரீட் பண்ணணும். அசெட்ல what is not taken over கொடுத்திருப்பான், liabilityல what is taken over கொடுத்திருப்பான். Motor car, furniture, investment, loose tools, debtors and cash are not taken over by the company, which means other assets are taken over by the company. Liabilities like bills payable and bank OD are taken over by the company. நான் வேற என்ன எடுத்துக்க மாட்டாங்க. In the creditors and trade creditors for bills payable, இதெல்லாம் Mrs. Nanda's loanல எடுத்துட்டு போக மாட்டாங்க. Okay. Then they would have given details about assets and liabilities taken over. Equity share is divided in which ratio? Profit sharing ratio கொடுத்திருப்போம். One of the fantastic problem. Try to work out. Okay. Or in the next class that we meet, okay, we'll start solving this and we'll proceed. But புரியல. Investment fluctuation this ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? Realization accountல transfer பண்ணும்போது we'll transfer assets to sundry assets போடுவோம். Goodwill, land, building, machinery போட்டு credit sideல போடும்போது என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? By external liabilities and specific reserve transfer பண்ணுவோம். அந்த specific reserve போடும்போது first ப்ராப்ளத்திலே பார்த்திருப்போம். அந்த investment fluctuation reserve, அந்த maybe like இது JLP reserve, joint life policy reserve, அந்த மாதிரிலாம் போட்டிருப்போம் இல்லையா? Same thing. We'll transfer to realization account. Okay, so next classல பார்த்துக்கலாம். No issues. But try this at home. So next class we will do this 30 and 31. Okay. With that, which will get over? Sale of a firm to a company will get over. Thereafter, we will move on to amalgamation of firms. Amalgamation of firms. See, for partnership, okay, I've done in detail the dissolution, insolvency with fluctuating capital, insolvency of the firm, piecemeal distribution, and which one? Sale of a firm பண்ணியாச்சு. Then what is the next one we are going to see? Amalgamation of firms. If you rely on the classroom notes alone, more than sufficient for your partnership, and time will be available only for that. நாமளா அந்த பார்ட்னர்ஷிப் சாப்டர் லெங்க்தின்னு சொல்லி நிறைய பேர் ஸ்கிப் பண்ணிட்டு போறாங்க எக்ஸாம்க்கு. யூ டோன்ட் டூ தட் மிஸ்டேக். ஓகே, ஸோ கிளாஸ் ரூம்லேயே நிறைய ஒர்க் பண்ணிருக்கோம். ஸோ அதே ஒரு ரிவைஸ் பண்ணிட்டு பாருங்க போதும். ஸோ நெக்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ் வீல் மீட்.